Your work, like you said, requires navigating tough conversations around race, gender, and
Mhm.
opportunity. What strategies do you use to foster and keep trust and keep people engaged when the topics get uncomfortable?
That's such a good question, Haley. I just got off a call um, before you and and it's an organization, it's a corporation, and they want to have these conversations. They really do, which is why they brought me on. And it's also not a desire, but an understanding of, well, we can't hit people over the head too hard because then they're going to shut down, which I completely understand. And we live in a very divisive climate right now. And so, to answer your question, I can think of one particular instance, and I won't go too wordy into it, but it was the first meeting post inauguration. I was facilitating my group. I felt it was necessary to acknowledge, the elephant in the room, and I said, "All right, before we start, just if you want to talk about how you're feeling, I'm going to give you space." And the majority of the group shared what they felt, and I have no expectation that everybody has the same leanings. And so one person in the group was like, he just says, "Man," he goes, "y'all are being so divisive. And this is why I didn't want to come to the circle today. I had a feeling like this was going to happen." And he talked and talked. And as he was talking, I'm there as a facilitator. I'm like, okay, well, I don't want this to go sideways. And so he happened to be sitting, and I'm glad we had the conversation, Haley. He happened to be sitting next to the circle agreements. And that was my North Star. So as he was expressing, rightfully so, his feelings, and he says, "Look, I didn't vote for that person, but this is what I feel, and da da da, and I don't feel like this is a safe space anymore for me." After he was done talking, I pointed him to the circle. Well, I pointed everybody to the circle agreements, and they all look at it. And I said, "I want us to kind of focus on the first two, listening from the heart and speaking from the heart." And I told him and to the group, but to him as well, I said, "This space has been created to have these unfiltered conversations where we can be raw, because if we go out into the real world, maybe we work in spaces where it leans a certain way and we don't have that opportunity to have that conversation. Here we can do it." So I said, "That's not going to change." I said, "And that's where they're speaking from the heart." And I looked at him and I said, "And how you just spoke from your heart."